Hey folks, we made it to April. I know some say that March is the hardest month of the year, and so congratulations. We're here now and moving on to April and already kind of trending towards the end of the school year, which is always crazy. This year has gone by way too fast. So I got two main things that we're going to talk about today. One is a super important update that kind of covers a big transition for one of our main communication platforms. So I want to make sure that we're all aware of what's happening and give you some details surrounding that. And then we'll talk about our AI tip of the month as we usually do as well. Okay, so the first thing, we talked a little while ago now about how Remind is a platform that we use for classroom communication. And they were actually bought out by a company called ParentSquare that is a communication platform for K to 12 across the United States. And they got bought out a couple of years ago. And it was only a matter of time before they kind of merged the tools into one. And they announced earlier this year that that time is coming. It's actually coming later on in the fall. And so what that means for us is that we are going to be retiring Remind at the start of the 2026 to 2027 school year. And so what that means is that the way we communicate on the classroom level will be folded into ParentSquare. And there's a lot of different features that you might be used to in Remind, and they all match and are available, and even more so in the ParentSquare platform. But we just wanted to give you a heads up that one, that's coming, and two, we're going to share some resources related to that switch. They're all going to be linked in the newsletter here. One of the resources is just the idea of moving from Remind to ParentSquare. What does it mean? What settings do I need to worry about? Different things like that. I was used to doing this, and how do I do that over here? These are created by the ParentSquare folks. The other resource to pay attention to as well is for some terminology differences. So they called it an announcement in Remind. ParentSquare calls it a post, different things like that. And so we have a resource guide linked for that as well. And then we have some recommendations in terms of what to do next. Any of these settings, we have some time for this naturally because the start of the new school year isn't for a few months, but we wanted to share this now and then give you an opportunity to adjust some preferences and if you want to even try it out as a classroom communication tool before the year ends up. And so in our recommended steps that we have in our newsletter, step one is the ability for you to go in and customize your preferences for your class. And this kind of is broad even besides class communication. This is more for your ParentSquare account itself as well. And so we recommend to go into ClassLink, go into ParentSquare, and then visit your account profile so that you can customize your notification preferences. It'll have your contact information synced from your HR record, so your behavioral email and potentially a phone number. You can confirm those information as you see fit. But it also gives you an area where you can choose how you want to be notified. If you've ever gotten the snow call and it hit you 6 different ways, it's very possible that you might want to manage some of those preferences there. And where this is super important as well is that you have the ability to download an app too. So if you're used to using a Remind app, maybe the ParentSquare app might be something to download as well. So check out those recommendations in terms of just confirming your information. If you are used to using the virtual phone feature that Remind had, where it can mask a phone number, if you ever use some voice calling back and forth, ParentSquare has that same feature. And so we have a linked guide in here on how to set up that virtual phone where you can claim the phone number and be ready to go should you decide to use that. Our big target date in terms of testing is going to be on May 1st, where we'll basically open up the classes. It is an auto-rostered system, so you don't need to really set anything up as a classroom teacher other than signing in, seeing your classes available, and then if you so choose to finish out the school year, you can send a post right from ParentSquare and just try to get used to the platform and play around with it before the school year ends. So you'll have a little bit of a leg up going into the fall. Completely optional, but we figured a lot of you might want to take advantage of that just to get used to. We will handle any communication in terms of the community. We have some scheduled communications that will go out to the greater community, just talking about the benefits. Honestly, the biggest benefit is that it'll be a single app for communication that our district uses, a single path. So no longer do people have to jump to a website or jump to ParentSquare, jump to Remind, or any of these different ways. It's going to be all one communication platform. It does high-powered translation for those that need it, and it can be just an easy way to receive and respond to communication on the community side. So we'll handle all the communication out to the greater community. We just wanted to let you guys know first. Check out all those resources that we have, set up your preferences for notification and confirm your contact info. And then again, May 1st is the day that we will have the classes available as a classroom teacher, should you decide to use that. And again, as always, we're here to support you through this transition. There are a lot of great resources that the ParentSquare folks have put out for us that we've shared, and there's more to it as well. But if you have any questions, put in a support ticket. Okay. Switching gears to our AI chat, we've talked before about how we have a ton of resources and we shared over the course of the year. And so last month, I know we spent some time looking at just like basically reviewing all of the different resources that we've talked about related to Gemini and using AI. If you're still new to it, or if you're with a different platform, or you have some colleagues that haven't touched it yet, this might be a good opportunity to review last month's newsletter, go through all those links, go through all those different resources, start playing around, start trying out the different things that are available. It can be a really great tool for both personal productivity and certainly within our education environment. And related to that, Google themselves are very well aware that this is a very good educational tool. And what they've done as an educational team, the Google for Education folks have built this website called Ready to Use AI Prompts for Teaching. And this is great to either get started if you've never used Gemini before or used AI before, and kind of either don't know where to start or aren't sure how it can be a professional tool. This can be a great way to get started with it because it gives us some education-focused concepts, different ways to explore it. And it can just be a good idea starter. If you've been using AI for a little bit and you want to kind of go deeper and want some other things in there, they break it up into different categories and then just give you quick ideas for how to use the Gemini engine to prompt for some real examples. And then also with that, we talked a couple different times about gems and how a gem is a way to focus and gear your AI experience with a specific lens. And so instead of being super open-ended, you can make a gem that focuses its narrative and focuses its thought process, so to speak, on a specific role or specific topic. And so I have a couple here that I've used just in my day-to-day in my life concept just to try out and see how it responds. But where this kind of gets even more interesting is there's a website that's spun up, not necessarily sponsored by Google, but it is all related to using Gemini and the gems. And it's called EduGems.ai. And what's super interesting about this is that this group of people that are putting this together are education focused, and they've created a whole set of these gems to help focus your AI experience on specific educational topics. So whether it's lessons in curriculum, whether it's content area things, assessment related things, professional tasks, etc. They're super interesting ways of focusing the AI engine for a specific reason. And so if you click any of these ideas, it'll tell you a little bit about it. It'll give you a link to try it, and it gives you a more descriptive reason on why it was made and how you could potentially use it. So play around on this website. It's a great resource in the time that I've spent checking it out, just different ways to try it. You can even copy it so it lives in your Gemini world. And again, a lot of great organization for how they have this set up. So another tool in our AI tool belt that we can use to kind of play around and see what this can benefit us or our daily practice. Okay, that's what I got for April. I hope you guys are all doing well. Again, any questions about the Remind to ParentSquare transition? Any questions about Gemini, of course? If there's other things that are happening in your technology world that you need a hand on, never hesitate to put a support ticket in. Start there with any questions or any problems, of course, and then if as needed and as is helpful, you can visit the iSchool website and book an appointment. We can spend some more one-on-one time together as well. Okay. All right. Take care. Until next month.